So when it comes to fragrance discovery and exploration, sometimes we do need a sort of pathfinder or a guide to help us along our journey. In today's Cafleurebon contributor video, I'm going to be telling you about 14 fragrances you absolutely must know about. These are niche fragrances, and here you have the opportunity to discover them all if you wish. I'm also going to let you in on a very special giveaway. I'm excited to get on with this video, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode and I tell you about these 14 niche fragrances that are all super high quality, very strong reputation, really unique, definitely worth discovering, and I think fragrances that everyone should know about. I do want to start things off by saying that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified whenever I do upload future videos to the channel. And of course, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it or if you took something of value from today's episode. So here we have a box from Jovoy, and this is to commemorate the 13th anniversary of the blog Cafleurebon. And it's been a wonderful journey being a part of the Cafleurebon team. I'm very proud of it. And here we have 14 different fragrances selected by the Cafleurebon team, myself included. And so there's a lot of diversity in here. There's some vanillas, there's some freshies, there's some tea-based fragrances, some that have a bit of a darker, spicier edge to them. So there's a lot of really wonderful niche fragrances to discover. So I'm really excited to get on with this list and this video. If you want to participate in the giveaway for one of these boxes, you have the opportunity to discover every single fragrance mentioned in this list. All you have to do is follow the first link down below in the description box. That will bring you to the Cafleurebon website. After you've become a registered reader, just leave a thoughtful comment on the article, and that's it. That's all you have to do to enter to win. Just make sure to check back on over to Cafleurebon on the date that's specified in the article so you know if you are the lucky winner. Best of luck, and let's go ahead and get started with the video because this is going to be a bit of a longer video, I suppose, because there's 14 fragrances in it. So I'm going to try to get through them as quickly as I can. I do have experience with every single one of these fragrances, some of which I've known about for many, many years, and I'll make sure to mention if I've done a review of it. This way, if you're curious about my description, if you want to delve a little bit deeper into the fragrance, you certainly have the freedom to do that. So the first one that I want to talk about is the one that I actually picked. And I just dropped my card, but here it is. It didn't go too far. This one by Soradora is called Gladiator. This is a French brand. I've done a review on this fragrance. Oh, and this is a very bright citrusy bergamot pineapple kind of a scent. In the beginning, it might remind you a little bit of Credaventus, but it's quite different. It definitely goes in its own direction. Huge compliment getter, really unique. It also has this added note of mint. So if you can imagine a version of Credaventus with less vanilla, more bergamot than pineapple, and an added mint note in there, this is truly wonderful. Huge compliment getter. I've worn so many from the brand, Vanuatu, Orchidee Rouge, this one as well, and they all do really, really well on my skin. Yet another one that I've reviewed, and I sung very high praise for this one in my review by Etat Libre d'Orange. This is their newest release, I think, and it's called Frustration. Oh, so this is very smooth. It almost kind of has like this creaminess to it. There are some spices like cinnamon. Kind of reminds me a little bit of peanut butter in the heart. If you try it, you'll know what I mean, but there's this gorgeous, smooth, velvety vanilla in the dry down. It's such an amazing fragrance. And again, I've done a review on it. Another one that I've reviewed, I'm very proud of myself at this point, if you couldn't tell. No, but this one is by Xerjoff. This is Alexandria 2. This is such a classic fragrance. You have the apple, you have the vanilla, you have some spices in there in the base. You also have sandalwood and musk with a touch of oud. The oud is not too strong, but this is an amazing release by the brand Xerjoff. Many flankers of this as well. Alexandria Orientale, and there's many other flankers. Oh, but this one is just so good. Perfect for the colder weather, so we're kind of getting out of that right now, but exceptionally well done. One of my favorites from the brand. So I'm going to be honest with you, this next one was a new discovery for me by Sherigan. It's called Fleur de Tabac. Oh, and it's wonderful. I thought it was going to be this really heavy tobacco-based fragrance because there's tobacco in the name, but it does give a lot of attention to the fleur aspect of the fragrance. There's iris, jasmine, and rose. Oh, and it's such an intoxicating balance of all three of those ingredients. Really, really well done. Super unique. I haven't really tried this. All of these are unisex, by the way. I haven't really tried this particular smell before, this DNA. This is my first time exploring it, and it's very, very good. Of course, we have Parfum d'Empire, and this one is Cuir Ottoman. Now, of course, like the piece of furniture, the ottoman, imagine one made out of leather. This is basically an animalic leather with a touch of iris, and oh, it's the iris that really makes this. It's very soft and plushy, and it has like these beautiful qualities about it. I love this brand personally. I own Yuzu Fu. I've done a review on that. I own Wazamba. I've done a video on that as well. Here's one that I don't own, and I made it a point to purchase this several years ago. I just never got around to it. I had a lot of other leather-based fragrances that I thought, you know, would satisfy my leather cravings. But this one is really, really well done. Quite exceptional. The next one is, of course, one I've known about for many years. This one is a phenomenal release by Parfum MDCI. This is Chypre Palatine. Oh, it's earthy, it's green, the oak moss, the galbanum. This is a really mature, dressed up, sophisticated, classy sort of a scent. A gentleman or gentlewoman could pull this off, but it definitely has that old world charm about it, and it's such an amazing fragrance from the brand. Of course, everybody talks about Invasion Barbare by MDCI, but Chypre Palatine is an amazing fragrance composed by Bertrand Duchaufour, one of my favorite perfumers ever. Now here we have another new one. So this box was my sort of foray into the discovery of this brand. This one by Visiteur is called Cabaret Nocturne. Ooh, wow, so you have this really strong floral note in the opening, and I'm guessing it is the tuberose. It comes across quite strong, but also very beautiful, very breathtaking. And it definitely has like this spicy quality in here. I know there's this gin accord in the fragrance. I was playing around with it before, and I am getting this sort of woodsy, herbal, aromatic juniper berry kind of a vibe from it. So I'm guessing that that's contributing to the gin accord. It doesn't say juniper in the note breakdown, but I am getting it. It's really quite wonderful. Here's another one I'm familiar with. I never did a video on it because I don't own a bottle of it, but I tried it a long time ago. Casanova by the Italian brand Tiziana Terenzi. Wow. Yeah, this one is great. So it does have a lot of floral elements to it, if I'm being honest. You do have this sort of leaf of Eden note, orchid, jasmine powder. So it does have some floral components to it. In the heart, you have ambergris, pink pepper, vanilla, gaiac wood. You have some spices, but it's this very sort of dulcet, creamy, sort of a floral perfume that never gets too sweet, and I appreciate that. In the dry down, of course, you have the amber and the tonka bean, and if it's a vanilla heavy amber, you can expect it to be a bit sweet, but this one never goes in that direction, which I think is quite nice. Now here's one that's gotten a lot of praise by Jovoy. It's called Remember Me. Oh, and I love the tea note that is in this one. So this one has bergamot, lemon, cardamom tea, ginger, frangipani, and in the base you have cedar, vanilla, milky, gourmand, and woody notes. Oh, it's creamy, it's rich, it's gourmand, it's intoxicating. And I love that lactonic personality that it has in the base. And usually when a fragrance is lactonic, sometimes it could be a bit of a novelty scent. At other times it can be quite intoxicating. Here, this follows the latter path, and I really admire it for that reason. So here's one that was done in memoriam for Robert Herman. It was a selection in memoriam. And this one is another one that I've done a video on. I don't remember if I've reviewed it, but I've certainly featured it in a number of videos by Strangelove NYC. It's Lost in Flowers. I own this one. It's absolutely beautiful. The lily of the valley, the floral elements are so natural, and they're really quite intoxicating. You also have Champaca Absolute, jasmine, cardamom, a bit of saffron adding that beautiful touch to it. Now we're going to go in a darker direction by Histoire de Parfum. You've heard me talk about Hemingway, I think, on a few occasions. 1899 Hemingway smells like Spice Bomb by Viktor and Rolf. It's a beautiful fragrance. Of course, there's also 1725 Casanova, which is one of my favorite lavenders. Here we have Fidelis. Now, this one is much darker. So this one initially kind of reminded me of Interlude for Men by Amouage. So it kind of has the coffee, cardamom, cumin, saffron, raspberry, rose. Definitely goes in a darker direction, amber, patchouli, and oud. So I think it's a combination of the cumin, cardamom, saffron, and the oud. Definitely takes it in a much darker direction, very bold, gregarious, very extroverted, but very confident at the same time. Now, here was one selected by Olyabar. This one is by Sense of Wood, and it's called Pan et Chatagnier. Now, another sweet one. I always love the sweet-leaning fragrances. And of course, the thing with this brand is that their fragrances are aged in alcohol barrels. And this one is chestnut, so the wood is chestnut, of course. Cardamom, rosemary, benzoin, olibanum, tonka bean, patchouli, and sandalwood. So it has the incensey qualities, but it also has the beautiful, rich, creamy, delectable tonka bean in the base. It's really quite wonderful. We have a fragrance by Micallef, and it's called Note Vanille. Yeah, I remember this one quite clearly. This one is a boozy vanilla. Rich, sensual, intoxicating, mesmerizing. It's a really, really beautifully done vanilla. If you're a fan of vanilla, you definitely have to prioritize this fragrance on your list. Note Vanille by Micallef has been around for some time. It has acquired a pretty, steady reputation. And we will conclude with Murmure d'Et by Plume Impression. Wow. Now this one is rich. This one is bold. This one has Davana, cypress in the opening, fig pulp, and freesia. In addition to fig wood, you have sandalwood, cedar, and tonka bean. And it has this aromatic vibe to it. It's a little starchy. It's a little milky. And of course, when I think of fig, I also think of coconut, because fig is a fantasy note. So coconut is often used in the synthesis of a fig accord. And this one has that creamy, lactonic, fruity vibe, while the Davana gives it this green sort of herbaceous quality. So incredibly well done. And I've said some wonderful things about fig-based fragrances in the past. I spent several years living in Greece, and there was a fig tree or two in my backyard. It's still there in Athens and in Glyfada specifically, but it definitely conjures up memories of being at home in Greece. But in any case, 14 amazing fragrances that you should absolutely know about. All the links to this box are going to be down below. Jovoy is an amazing brand, and they carry a lot of wonderful brands, including their own, of course. But I hope you have the opportunity to discover these exceptional niche fragrances. Some of them are very bright, citrusy, compliment-getting, like Gladiator. Some of them are very sweet, creamy, vanillic, intoxicating, boozy, like Note Vanille. And then you have the Sense of Wood, which is also boozy, but it kind of takes things in a bit of a more incensey direction. Lost in Flowers is one of the most natural, organic fragrances you'll ever try by, Strange Love NYC. So we have a lot of brilliant and beautiful selections here. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I gave you the opportunity to discover some new fragrances. I know me exploring this box, I alone discovered like 5 new fragrances. So it's always a pleasure to get into that exploration mode, if you will. Once again, make sure to participate in the giveaway by following the link down below. Thank you again so much for joining me today. Love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.